What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports MLB Swing for the Fences show. I'm your host, Mangone. I'm here with Hoop. I'm here with Title. You got the Cash Donkeys in the building. We're all here to talk about everything, but we don't got just cash guys, right? Not Big T. Hoop, he's a tournament guy too, right? He took down 100K the other day, so we'll be giving you the tournament takes as well. And listen, it was a good day for RPS yesterday, and we got to give a little shout out to our boy AP for having a nice little 20K win yesterday. Hoop, how's it going over there? And talk about that sweat a little bit.
Yeah, it's going well over here. I mean, I was almost right there back in the winner circle again on FanDuel. I had a team towards the end. It was the Braves. I mean, I think like the consensus favorite stack ended up being the Braves. All our coordinators, all the guys that put cores in were all over the Braves. I had the Braves and Garver, and so I had the full Brave stack and Garver, and then I had 3 Astros going late. So, I mean, if the Astros kind of go off, I'm sitting in good shape. Alvarez gets that homer in the first. I'm like, I'm gonna go back to back and ship that. I think it was the $150 buy-in on FanDuel. I was like, I got to be in real good shape here. I was in the top 20, I believe, and then the Astros just completely died and didn't do anything the rest of the way. But our boy AP, I believe it was $111 buy-in on DraftKings, I want to say. I think it was a weird price point. He's in first all night. I mean, he had the Brave stack, he had Harper, he had Garver, and he had 2 pitchers. I can't remember which ones that did pretty well. In first place, coasting, looking like he was going to win. And then Eric Haas hits that, I think it was a grand slam to tie up that game. And that was kind of what broke him. But he still finished in third place for $20,000. So congratulations to our boy AP. But the content yesterday was on point. I mean, I think the 3 most talked about offenses were the we talked about the Twins, who obviously the grand slam with Garver was a necessity. Talked about the Braves a ton, and then the Phillies. I mean, the Phillies got some home runs, and their guys did well too. So good all-around night at Run Pure Sports. Makes that a couple nights in a row, and I think we're going to go for a third tonight, liking how this slate is shaping up as well.
Yeah, I like how this slate is shaping up as well. And one thing, too, with the Phillies, right, they didn't score like a ton of runs, but it was getting those home runs, right? I mean, that's one thing I've been trying to target a little bit more. We talk about some of these ballparks at times, and that's something that I've been really trying to focus on. Listen, I get it. I want to get the team that gets 10 runs, but sometimes getting 5 runs, and if 3 of your guys get the homers, that's nice to get. But I had a good team, too, that was kind of trailing behind you. I saw we had like a 2v2 difference of like a Philly stack that you had me boxed out late, but I was rooting for you and rooting for myself to maybe get it home. Title, we'll go over to you. Obviously it was a big day for RPS. Saw it in the Discord chat. How was your baseball? And, are you excited to be back after all of the fun you've been having in the Deer District?
Yeah, yes. Baseball was good yesterday. I'm a cash game grinder, even in baseball. So yeah, I had a nice win. Double up, a little less than that in cash game. Nothing exciting like AP and you guys, but hey, slowly making the way and building the bankroll. But yeah, I mean, what a day for RPS. The cores were on fire. So AP gave Draft Cheat a shout out to all the cores. We got a nice early slate going on that we're sweating for a gamer. And then we have a nice 11 game slate today to talk into. So yeah, Deer District, unfortunately, that's going to be put aside until next year. I had my fun. My body's thanking me though. It was quite the bender, but excited to talk some baseball with you guys.
Yeah, and Hoop, I couldn't believe we found someone that grinds cash maybe a little harder than us. Like right now, we're not playing as much cash, I'd say, probably, right? But Title's out here grinding the cash streets. We got NFL coming up too, which I'm excited for, right? To be able to get in those cash streets and really grind out the NFL coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of shift a little bit for MLB. I mean, over the last couple of years, I've shifted more to tournaments, and the MLB cash grind. I got to give Title credit. It truly is a grind, and it's the definition, I think, of a grind in the DFS world because it's harder to grind MLB all season long than any other sport for sure. So credit to Title for continuing on and grinding those cash games. But like I said, for me, I'm kind of shifted a little bit more towards GPPs, but the 3 of us do that, the cash chart over at Run Pure Sports. And we all, regardless of what style of game we're playing in DFS, we still understand the cash game aspect for sure. So looking forward to this slate for sure. Like I said, we want to get, three big nights here in a row for the team.
Yeah, should be fun. I'm hoping to maybe take something down. We got tons of members thanking us, right? Garrett says, crazy, this video is free. I haven't won 100K, but still got paid the past few days. good look RPS. So, you love to see that in the chat. Guys, please hit that like, hit that subscribe for us. It helps us out a ton. We got 230 watching. We got 65 likes. So let's start getting those up. We also had Russell said, stop sleeping on Susie. I've been killing it in tennis all week. Offer info. We had some nice hits in the tennis streets as well. So you get everything for one price over here at Run Pure Sports. Use that code RPS here 25 to get 25% off. And we got the golf too, right? That's locking in 2 hours, Hoop. Like if you want some PGA Olympic coverage, right? We have all the stuff that you need for the golf. So Hoop, why don't you tell the people we had the show last night, which obviously it's going to be tougher for them to watch right now, but we have all the content you need for the golf right now.
Yeah, we did the show last night, me, AP, and Snyder, and all the content's live on the site right now. You have 2 more hours to build your teams, but we have the playbook. The playbook's actually almost like a whole field breakdown. The guys put almost all the guys in there, so tons of information there in the playbook. Have the cash chart, which kind of covers all the cash plays, or honestly, it's more like my player pool for PGA. And then the cores have 4 sets of cores up, a little write up as well, and tiers, a ranking system for each price point, all up, fully loaded, ready to go for this Olympic golf event, which definitely looking forward to. Kicks off in about 2 hours.
Yep, should be fun. Hopefully the coverage is decent for it as well. And
I gotta give a shout out too. Talking about Olympics, Rubio absolutely killed basketball yesterday. He had a very good day himself, and I saw a bunch of subscriber hits in the NBA Discord too. So shout out to Rubio. He's been grinding it for a game. He absolutely crushed it. So Olympics, yeah, as Big T always says, one price, you get it all. So make sure you get in the NBA Discord. Core plays are up, and Rubio does a really good job with that.
Yeah, you get in the Discord, and we one thing that I talked with JSU a little bit about was getting for preseason, getting a little bit of a news section of the Discord, and we have NFL News and Alert channel now. So it's replacing the NBA one for now. I'm sure we'll readjust it, but when preseason comes around, news is king, right? It is everything in the preseason. So that's definitely gonna be a channel where it's all gonna be in one place, right? You won't just have it in the NFL Discord and then you have to sift through it. You just have this one channel. So again, get in that Discord. It's one of the most valuable tools that we have over at Run Pure Sports. But that's enough of that. We can dive in. We can start talking a little bit about the slate and Hoop. We don't have the Twins on this slate, but we do got the Phillies that you can go back to. What's your first overall breakdown looking at this slate?
I hope we can go back to the Phillies. I just saw on Twitter that they're reporting, I can't believe we're still going through this, but a potential outbreak for the Nationals. And they said the game is in jeopardy of being played. So we're apparently going backwards with all this crap, which is beyond frustrating. So hopefully we can play the Phillies because I like them a lot tonight. But, from some big names in MLB, who's the guy that tweeted it? I don't know, one of the big MLB guys.
Jeff Passan, maybe? He's always a big one.
Yeah, maybe it's him. So, apparently this game's in jeopardy. So, which sucks because Zach Wheeler is an option at pitcher, and then the Phillies offense is, I think, in a phenomenal spot again tonight. So that's something that we're going to have to monitor here up to lock, and this game's right at lock, so we should know ahead of time.
Yeah, we'll see. I haven't found it yet, the tweet, but, if we do find it, if anyone else has it, let me know. I'll look it up. Title, what about you?
Ken Rosenthal.
Yes, Ken Rosenthal. Yeah, he's a big one. And hopefully we don't lose this game, right? Because it is a good one on this slate. And there's a pitcher, right? Like, we want to play Zach Wheeler, right? We want to look at him. They say the game is in jeopardy because of the COVID outbreak, possibly because of Trey Turner. We'll have to see what happens with that. Obviously, Zach Wheeler is going to be an important pitcher on this slate. Title, well, obviously, if the game we lose it, that's perfectly fine. But what are you doing with your pitchers at the top, Title? Like, are you going to Wheeler? Are you going to Buehler? How are you breaking it down here at the top?
Yeah, that's really big news, obviously, because Zach Wheeler is my top pitcher on the board. It's not contrarian or anything, but without Trey Turner, he's the reason he tested positive for COVID yesterday during the game. So he's the reason that this is all being talked about. We have to monitor it up to lock. We'll at least get the news. But if the game plays, Zach Wheeler against this Nats team without Trey Turner is very intriguing. He's been very good all year. Strikeouts right about 30%. No pitch count worries at all. We like the Phillies offense. I do as well against Corbin. So there's a lot of win equity there too. It just all sets up for Zach Wheeler. 10.3K is way too cheap. He's my SP1 if it does play. My SP2 up top is Walker Buehler at 10.5K. He gets the Giants. I just prefer Wheeler. He has the highest strikeout prop on the slate. I don't mind playing both together, but there are some big bats on the slate like Ohtani. We'll get to some other ones where I don't think it's a lock that you have to play Buehler and Wheeler together. We have another pitcher in the cheaper tier that's too cheap for the matchup. So if we lose Zach Wheeler, I'm just going to go most of my Wheeler shares to Buehler. I'll pivot. I'll pair some of them up top, but then you're sacrificing some bats. But yeah, it's Wheeler for me, SP1. If he plays, hopefully. I like Buehler up top, 10-5, but then you're limiting some bats. So that's kind of how I'm looking at the top tier. I'm not going to play anyone else up there. Giolito at 9.8K. He just hasn't been right lately. I have no reason why I would find the 500 for Wheeler. I'll find the 700 for Buehler. Who else is up there? Yeah, no one up there is too much that's standing out. So I'm not paying 10.2K for Tyler Mahle. So Malley, sorry. So I don't know. I'm just gonna go Wheeler, Buehler. I always keep my pitcher pool short. Then I have a couple guys down low that I'll get to, but I think those two are clearly the best plays.
Yeah, and nice recovery there, Tito, with Tyler Mahle and Malle,
Yeah.
however you want to say it. But it's a good recovery. I thought JT Hayes entered the chat for a second, but you recovered nicely. And I know who does like to play Tyler Mahle at times. Well, I don't think this is the slate to do it. I don't think that Hoop will be doing it here. I know he likes the roster because of the K upside that he has, and typically has some good strikeout props, but you're not going to him at the top, Hoop. I think you're looking at some of these other pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, I was more looking at him early on in the season. He's been different the last couple months. Maybe it has to do with the sticky stuff, the spin rate and all that, but he's walking a lot of guys, 4, 4, 3, 4 in his last 4 starts. That's too many. The Ks are still there, but the walks and hits are way up. I'll be off him today. I mean, he is much cheaper on FanDuel, but still, I don't think I want to play him tonight. The total in that game is 10. So yeah, for me, it's Wheeler as one. If we get to play him, we're going to have to start, we're going to have to monitor the news up to lock because they could, it sounds like call this off at any point. But yeah, if we don't get him, then yeah, Buehler, I'm fine with the 10-5. He's just been very, very steady. 30 fantasy points. He had a one letdown game back early July, 12 fantasy point game, and 28, just been very steady. So I like him a lot, pitcher's ballpark here. If we don't get Wheeler, I think Giolito becomes a guy that we might have to look at too. Again, much cheaper on FanDuel. He's 9.8 on DK, 9.2 on FanDuel. You only play one pitch over there. I think he would be a guy to consider. But this is a slate where, we just don't have a ton of pitching options. So, Buehler, Wheeler, Giolito are the guys I like at the top. The mid-tier, though, I don't have a lot of interest in the mid-tier. I'd probably be coming way, way down if I'm not going to play two guys up top.
Yeah, let's talk about some guys that have used to be good pitchers, right? Like Madison Bumgarner gets Texas, right? So you get the nice matchup, right? And it's against those lefties, but I don't think I can pull the trigger on that one. I don't think I would want to go to a guy like a Steven Matz or anything like that, or as our boy JT Hayes says, Steven Matz. Tyler McGill, sort of interesting. I know Atlanta has had a nice little streak here, but McGill has been pretty good, and he crushed against Toronto. So, Title, I'll go over to you. Hoop doesn't love the mid-tier too much, and neither do I. There's guys that we got to discuss. We can't just say, here's these two guys at the top, but some people might want to play some of these guys in the mid-tier. So what are you doing with the mid-tier, and then how would you handle it if you played guys in that range?
Yeah, the one that stands out in the mid-tier is Andrew Heaney, and that's because he's 7.4K. He gets a matchup against Colorado that I like a lot. Yes, I know Colorado had a very good game yesterday, but this team isn't good. The lineup's not good. They're way worse on the road. Andrew Heaney has a 6.5K prop with a little juice on the over. So 7.4K on a pitching slate. I mean, if we lose Wheeler too, then the pitching comes really slim. I'd rather save the 2,000 from Giolito to Heaney and just go the Buehler-Heaney route. Otherwise, he's going to be right in there with Heaney, Buehler, and Wheeler. So 7.4K, it just gets me some of the top tier bats that I want. The K props there. There are some concerns. His walk rate has been up. His Ks hasn't been up as much as they have been in the past this year. He only has a couple games. I think it's 5 games where he has 8+ strikeouts or something. So it's not the best recent form that he's been in, but the matchup's perfect. 7.4K is too cheap. And then the one other guy in the mids here that I think goes overlooked a little bit is Max Fried. Again, a 6.5K prop. The juice is on the under for him. he gets this Mets team that they haven't been too good. They have a 4 implied total. He's pitching at home. I think at 8.5K, he's a better real life pitcher than he is in DFS with the strikeouts, but on a pitching slate that lacks some of the upper arms, especially if we lose Wheeler, Max Fried would be my 4th option. So it's Wheeler 1 for me, Heaney 2 if they're going point per dollar, Buehler 3, and then Max Fried 4 for how I'm looking in the mid tier. And then there's 2 guys down below. I'll let Hoot talk about the mid tier first, but 2 guys, if you just want to go all the way down, I think are viable, but I definitely don't love it. That'd just be to get the upper tier bats.
Yeah, Luke, talk about some of these mid-tier guys and talk about Andrew Heaney, right? Because it's very rare that a team goes for 10 runs, right? I think the Rockies put up 10 last night, or a big number, and then the next day you see the pitcher against them, right? And it's like Andrew Heaney is the guy that's going to be the chalk, and I get it. It's because of the strikeout upside he has, and it's because of how terrible the Rockies are. They could be making a trade at any time. You could see Trevor Story get traded after lock, even 2 hours after, and then be kicked out of the lineup. So, like, there is some humongous upside with a guy like Andrew Heaney here. What are you doing with him, and what are you doing with some of these other cheap options?
Yeah, Heaney's the next guy of interest in. I mean, I guess, but by saying I'm avoiding the mid tier, I was saying more of these 8K guys. Like, I'm not going to play any of these 8K guys. Max Fried, I like him. I like him a lot more on FanDuel, where he's only 7.4K. So really good price tag for him on FanDuel.
He's on the road too. I said he's at home. He's on the road. Just
yeah. I mean, I think he's fine. I mean, it's a good pitcher's ballpark and everything, but I just much prefer the price tag on FanDuel. Heaney at 7.4. I do like him. I mean, I like him more based on the fact that the Rockies, scored whatever it was, 12 runs last night. Like, that will keep people away from Heaney a little bit, I think, but I'd be fine going to him. It's a good price tag on DK. In terms of like the punts, and I think this is a slate, especially if we do lose Wheeler, where I'd be willing to take a real gamble at one of my pitcher spots, and it would most likely be with Jorge Lopez at 5.3K at home. A favorite. I mean, Lopez, I can't imagine he's been a favorite in many games this season. So can he go out there, survive 5 innings, pick up the win, which is all you really want him to do at this price point? Yeah, I think he can do it. And the Marlins lost, who did they trade away today? Marte, right?
Starling Marte. Yeah. And that was what I was going to mention. Like, that's a huge deal. And like, I feel like it sometimes like kills the locker room a little bit. Like, it deflates you a little bit when you lose that kind of guy, Hoop, right? I mean, we've been playing DFS for so long. You've been playing since what, like 2012? Like, I've seen this before. Teams, they sometimes do terrible. And then when you see that guy come in there and play for that team, it kind of gets them excited and they play a little bit better. So what's kind of your thought on that?
Right now with this team, okay, so they trade away Marte. These other guys got to be thinking in the back of their head like they could potentially be gone too. I mean, that's got to do something negatively, I think, for your focus. So I, am leaning towards the team going in the opposite direction when they start, trading guys away. Taking Marte out to me, obviously beneficial for Lopez. And like I said, we're not looking for him to go out there 7 innings, get 10 strikeouts and get the win. We want him to go 5 to 6 innings, maybe get 4 or 5 strikeouts and pick up the win, which I think is very realistic for Lopez at only 5.3K.
Yeah. And again, we talked about it yesterday, right? Like, this was something I think we brought up that was a really good point. You can win it, the slate at pitcher, but you don't want to lose it at pitcher. And I do feel like the Marlins, you won't lose it, right? Because there's enough strikeouts there where you can kind of get it done. And he's cheap enough. I don't think it's a bad tournament play. I get it. It is Jorge Lopez. He can definitely get a negative. I probably shouldn't say that you can't lose it, but I feel better about him than I have on past slates. Title, what do you think of that from Hoop in tournaments?
Yeah, he was the one if you do punt. The other option that I see popping a little bit is Chris Bubic. I don't want to go. I mean, I'd rather go Jorge Lopez. Chris Bubic, I mean, the White Sox, I don't like. I know you don't like Bubic at all against your White Sox. They have the highest total on the slate at 5.82, but I don't mind Jorge Lopez, especially without Starling Marte. It's definitely a big boost, but I don't think I'm going to go down and punt all the way, especially with Heaney at 7.4K, which feels too cheap. Max Fried at 8.5. And then I do want one of Wheeler or Buehler to get up top too, because those two realistically are the only ones that if they had double-digit strikeouts on anyone on this slate, it'd most likely be one of those two. I don't see the other guys really having that upside. So I'm not going to probably go all the way down. If I did, it would be Jorge Lopez, but the cheapest I'm going to go in most lineups is Heaney. Wheeler 1 for me. I'm going to go Heaney 2 because of the price, and then Buehler 3 and Fried 4 for me. Pitching pool, I'll probably just cap it at that because a lot of hitting spots on the slate on this 11 gamer.
Yeah, I like that you brought up the Bubik idea of not like I can't play him, right? And the reason why is because that ballpark and like I understood like Mike Minor, I understood Brad Keller, but like Bubik is not very good.
Let's get the real reason why you can't.
Lefty.
I mean, come on, man. You've been touting the White Sox for like 3 straight seasons every day. No shit, you can't tout Bubik.
See, here's the issue. I actually didn't mind the Minor thing the other day. Like I was like, Minor, I think is fine. Like I wanted to not play the White Sox, but I got sucked in on that ownership. I was like, well, Minor's going to be like the chalkiest player. Like, I mean, listen, the last time I did that, it was, I think, Scooble. It was one of those Tigers, right? I took the Tiger pitcher instead of the White Sox, and then the White Sox went off on it. I was like, I can't do that again. But yeah, I just think Bubik is just really, really bad. But that ballpark isn't great for runs, though. That is one thing worth mentioning. Like, I like to look at ballparks that are good for getting home runs, right? Sometimes the Phillies, right? The other day, they didn't get 1,000 runs, but they got home runs. And that is one of my fears with that ballpark at times. I don't love that Royals Park for the home runs, but we'll see how it shakes up. We'll definitely talk about it. And Hoop, this is good news. We're going to go game by game with the hitters. So before we do that, and it's been going well, we got to keep the good mojo going. Give your pitcher pool for the people, and then we'll move on over. We'll do the members never win segment, and then we'll go on and talk about some of the hitters.
Yeah, I mean, Bueller, Wheeler, 1A, 1B for me. On DK, Heaney's definitely going to be right there as a top option. And like I said, I really don't hate punting it off with Lopez if you need to, if you want some more bats. And then on FanDuel, I'm going to throw Fried into the mix too at 7.3K, 7.4K, whatever it is. I like him over there as well.
All right, I do.
Yeah. Pete, someone in the chat asked about Tyler McGill. I know we touched on him a little bit. I mean, he's been really, really good this year. The thing for me, and I'll let you touch on him because I know you did bring him up too, but it's just like he's 9.2K now. His price is really elevated. This Braves team without Acuna, they're definitely not the same, but he has struggled with lefties a little bit. Ozzie and Freddie Freeman, I'm scared of in the middle of that order. And I mean, at 9.2K, for me, I just would rather get up to the Wheeler, Bueller, or take my savings with Heaney and Fried. So that's kind of why he's not in my player pool. If you're making 20 plus lineups, I don't mind having him in a couple, but his price is just too elevated for me, where I'm either going to go all the way up to the Bueller, the Wheelers, or I'm just going to go down and save some money. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Someone asked, how do you see Tyler McGill? Because he has been very good this year.
Yeah, I think if you're MMEing, like I don't hate it because his issue is control, right? Like if he has a little bit of control issues, then he can get wild, but he has really good stuff. Like if he's got his A game on, he's got some talent. So I do like the idea. And I think if you lose Wheeler on this slate, it becomes more interesting. But then I'm curious, like, does that Wheeler ownership gravitate to him? I think it more so gravitates to Bueller instead. Hoop, would you kind of agree? Mostly, I think that Wheeler ownership won't go to really to McGill. I think it'll mainly go to Bueller.
Yeah, if we lose Wheeler, I mean, the ownership on Bueller probably goes through the roof, which I'm fine with. I mean, he's been so steady. In terms of McGill, I don't know. I just prefer to play pitchers not going against really good offenses. And even with Acuna, I think the Braves have a really solid offense. So, if I'm going to take a pitcher against a really good offense, I want it to be like a top tier, like elite guy. Not necessarily, a middle of the road guy, I think. I mean, he's pitched well this year, don't get me wrong, but he's still, slightly above average, I think, at best. So not for me, but, I get it in tournaments, I guess, if you want to go there.
Yeah, I wish he wasn't as expensive because I think he's got really good stuff and going to be a study. Yeah. I mean, he crushed the Blue Jays the other day. And we'll see. I think the ownership kind of depends. But that's it for that. Let's go on to the members never win segment, which we touched on a little bit at the start. Obviously, we talked about AP's nice win. Gave him a congrats, but we had a lot of winners, right? We had B Square 81 won 5K yesterday. That was a nice win for him. We had tons of them in the Discord chat. I saw people in the YouTube chat asking how to get in the Discord chat. All you gotta do is sign up at Run Pure Sports. Use that code RPSHeater25 to get 25% off. And then head on over to the member section, click on Discord chat, and then kind of follow the steps. That's how you get in there. So be sure to do that so you can get in there and just find out all the information that we have and we're talking about in there. And we do the premium show. We got the live show chat as well. So you can chat along with the premium show. We also have MVY Lettle 1928, he won 25K, and then BJMN 23, he won 72K and a live final. And one thing that, again, our producer Simon won't have on the screen, they messaged me. They said, just wanted to thank you for the Riley call yesterday. You guys have no idea how important that was for me. Thanks for all the help. You guys are greatly appreciated. Like, I don't know what it did for him, right? But to be able to make his day, that's what we want to do for you guys. We want to help you out and give you the opportunity. So Hoop, that's what we're trying to do here. Create a great community.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take the victory lap from yesterday. I mean, some of these plays of the day calls have just been on fire lately. And we had Hoskins last week. He went off kind of unowned. Yesterday, you called Austin Riley 50 burger for Austin Riley, and really the key to the slate. If you didn't have Austin Riley, you weren't winning any money. So take the victory lap.
Yeah, it was nice to get him in the 4-hole against terrible Jared Eichhoff. It's so funny. I tweeted this literally, I think probably a week ago. I said, I can't wait for Jared Eichhoff to pitch against the Blue Jays, because I thought that was his scheduled start, and he'd go. Joey Work was getting on me. Oh, it's been all the errors. I was like, I'm watching this dude throw. It is awful. It's not going well. So I was excited for Jared Eichhoff Day. I pray we get Jared Eichhoff Day one more time. I don't know if we will, because I think Carrasco's coming back soon. And I think they're going to find their best to not have him go out there. But if we get Jared Eichhoff one more time,
besides Mr. Eichhoff moving forward, I'd imagine he does suck.
He throws BP.
If we get Jared Eichhoff Day one more time, right? Just push the chips, right? I mean, just keep doing it.
Get a refinance your house. Sell some pop cans, whatever you got to do. I mean, any access you have to dollars, straight in the middle of the table.
We know how this happens though on these you've been playing DFS long enough, Hoop, right? You've been playing since 2012. We hit July and June. There's these pitchers that are just dead, right? They absolutely die off, and we don't get them for a long time. And then you kind of get the youngsters that come in that maybe get called up a little too early, and then you take shots against them if they're not that great. So I think that's something that when you play DFS this long, you kind of get a good grasp for. Title, I know you've been only playing for 2 years since you're only 18 years old, but is this something that you've been taking advantage of over the years?
I've been playing a little over 2 years, but yeah, I mean, you find, pitcher when you watch the games, when a pitcher's bad. I mean, Eichhoff he's really bad. He throws BP out there, and I mean, yeah, it's showing. Jay Happ, everyone in Discord today was saying how bad he is. Willie Peralta, it's a 15-12 game right now, Detroit, Minnesota. So if you game stack that game early, I mean, watching the games definitely gets you a long way in baseball and in every sport, knowing rotations in basketball. Every sport. So yeah, watching pitchers, Eichhoff is really bad. Today we'll get to some pitchers that we want to target. And I mean, yeah, you got to watch the games. I have been playing a little over 2 years though, but I appreciate the compliment that I still look young.
I will say, speaking of looking young, I was at the beach on Friday. Title, I was told I looked like I was 20. I was like, I don't know how you're going to say I look 20, but that was a good compliment. I was 20 years old. Hoop. I mean, you're an older guy. You take those compliments, right?
You're an older guy.
You take them and run with them as long as I mean, I'm a little bit. I mean, we got a nice spread here, and we got Title, who's like a baby. We got Mangone, who's like a teenager. Then you got Hoop, who's middle-aged guy, and you take those and run. I mean, that's the goal, to always, stay young. And I just go by the philosophy. I don't know who it was, but someone said it to me, and I live by it. You're only as old as you feel. So the age is only a number, but you're only as old as you. And we're all guys that kind of look younger than our true age. Or I mean, Title is younger, but Mangone, you look young. I mean, I'm 37. I don't think I look like I'm 37. So the goal is to stay young, right?
The question in chat is, you had a statement that made you feel old, because I don't know what it is. What's a pop can? Is that just a soda can? Is that just a soda can, Hoop?
Yeah. Well, I think that's more like where you live, right? Like some people call it pop, some people call it soda. Like we call it here they call it pop.
I knew Michigan, they said pop. I've never heard pop can, and someone in chat said that too. So okay, I was making sure. Yeah.
And Hoop, you age like Holden, right? Holden's another one. We got a young looking group for the most part, I'd say. Even Uncle T looks, I think, sneaky young. So we got a young, good looking group here.
I mean, if you shave that mustache off, maybe. I mean, the stash is just a true indicator of someone's age. Like no one under 40 is rocking a stash, so you automatically know that he's over 40. If you took that stash off, I'm sure it would shave about 5 to 10 years off the look.
Yeah, and we got someone in chat. Anthony says pop in Chicago. So it obviously depends, I think, where you're at. I have heard that in different parts. I feel like that's a Kentucky thing too. I feel like Big T probably calls it some pop. Or
it's a Midwest thing, I know, but Wisconsin, I mean, you have to go away. It's never pop around here, but anytime I visit in the UP, it's always pop. So pop can just when it went together, someone said it too, and I laughed. Took me a little bit, but on to game by game. I know that's what you guys love.
Yeah, listen, the game by games are going good. Listen, I'm all down to like keep with what's working, right? If we change it up and then things are flowing, we got to stick with it. We got to keep that good mojo flowing. So we are going to keep that good mojo flowing, and we're going to dive in and go game by game here. And first one up, which I'm losing it here on the order, we'll go with the Brewers and the Pirates, right? That's a game that kind of popped off a little bit yesterday, kind of unexpectedly, right? Out the gate. Omar Narvaez, I saw, was like absolutely crushing, and I was like, I didn't see that one coming. Brewers put up some runs, and it's because, hey, this Pirates pitching staff is not that good. We obviously didn't talk about Max Kranick and liking him, so I assume we should have some type of interest in the Brewers. And if we were going to talk about the Brewers, we'll go to Mr. Deer District in Milwaukee himself, Titletown. Talk about the Brewers. Are you playing them here in this spot as a stack?
Yeah, I mean, the Brewers had a very, very good first inning yesterday, put up 8. Kranick is no good. He wasn't good in AAA, only striking out 19%. And I don't expect him to be good in the major leagues. Brewers get the guaranteed 9th inning at bat. It is a park downgrade for them, but they're very cheap. If you do go Wheeler and Buehler and want a full stack teams, the Brewers are definitely a team you can do that with. Colton Wong's 4K, Willy Adames 4.3K, Narvaez in the 3-hole 3.9K. They got Rowdy Tellez at 2.3K at first base, which is almost min price. I think these Brewers are way too cheap for a 5 implied total, the guaranteed 9th inning at bats against a bad pitcher. Avi Garcia is only 3.6K in the 4-hole. Tyrone Taylor, who, I mean, he always seems to do me good, 2.3K in the 6-hole. This lineup is way too cheap. I don't expect them to be too owned. It's an 11-game slate. There's a lot of big bats too. So I definitely have some interest in the Brewers. If you're going to go all the way up, Buehler, Wheeler, I think full stacking or getting 4 of them is definitely fine. I like the Brewers today against Kranick, who's not good. So give me some Milwaukee as a cheap stack. And then for Pittsburgh, I don't have any interest against Hauser. I mean, it's 11-game slate. There's no need to play them.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Hoop, I'll go over to you. And I typically look at this Pittsburgh park and I just cross it off. I typically say I'm not messing with guys in this park, but I like to look at the slate, and I don't have cores on this slate. I don't have Yankee Stadium with the wind blowing out, right? And it's hot. I don't have we have obviously the Cubs Stadium, which is good. We don't have Great American Small Park. It feels like the parks are not amazing. There's some okay ones, right? And it feels like there's just not these amazing weather spots where I think I could take a chance because of the situation that we have. And I like some of these guys in the Brewers. Like I talk about it on FanDuel a lot, playing a catcher at that position. People don't want to do it. Omar Narvaez, he's been hitting the ball well. He's like their power guy right now, surprisingly. I don't mind him there at the 2.4K price tag. We're on DK is a lot more expensive. So what are you doing here with these Brewers? And I'm getting off of the Pirates completely. I won't be going to them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be super redundant, but everything you guys said, I fully agree with. I mean, I like this Brewers lineup. Actually, they're all really, really cheap. You can play, I think, almost their whole lineup. I think is in play for me. Maybe I wouldn't play Urias, but I guess you could. I like Kane, I like Taylor. Rowdy Tellez would be my favorite. I mean, 2.3K. He actually has some solid pop, solid power. This is a great team to look at if you're going to pay up at pitcher in both spots. If we do have Wheeler and you want to go Wheeler and Buehler, coming here gets you all the salary relief you need. I mean, Tellez, Taylor, 2.3K, 2.3K. That clears up everything you need. So really, really like this Brewers team from a stack standpoint, from a salary saving standpoint. The biggest drawback obviously is the ballpark, and the ballpark's not great, but you're getting some really, really good price tags. So I definitely will be on some Brewer stacks here tonight.
Yeah, and Hoop, I'll ask you another question in the chat, which I haven't done the cash chart up yet, working on it, but someone asked about Ben Gamel at 2.2K on DK, right? It's a decent punt option. I don't know if we're going to need it necessarily. Obviously, if we have Wheeler and Walker on the slate, you can make a case if that gets you some bats. That's perfectly fine. It's a nice little revenge game for Ben Gamel, but I don't know. I don't really want to attack Hauser, and I don't want to attack this Brewers bullpen. We don't talk about bullpens enough, and like that is a good bullpen. It's not one that I think is just a bunch of gas cans.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where I just don't know if you need it. Like a different slate, maybe, but like the way DK pricing is going, it's like so different than the last like few years where, you know, a lot of times in the past you get a 2.2K guy leading off, even in a team that's not projected to score a lot of runs, you pounce all over it. Now we have like 10 of those guys every single slate. So I don't think you need to push it. I mean, I haven't really started building teams, but just looking around, like I don't think it would be all that necessary tonight to do that, to be honest with you.
Another reason that might not be necessary is Eloy Jimenez at 2.8K, right? He's already one of those cheap outfielders. He was on the cash chart yesterday, locked in, got a home run. He gets Bubik. Like, I just would rather go Eloy over Gamel. Do you kind of agree with that title?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. And even in this game, I'd rather play Tyrone Taylor over Gamel in part of the Brewers stack. So there's way better plays that you needed. Even if you're going double up a pitcher, I wouldn't play Gamel.
And speaking of compliments, like we talked about earlier, someone said, who's older, Title or Mangone? So look at that. Maybe I look like I'm a bit younger, or maybe Title looks a bit older. Hopefully it's the other one. That was a funny chat question. Title is the youngster here. We joke that he, can just start drinking and is just out of high school, but that's not the case. Title, how old are you? Tell the people.
I'm 23 years old. I got a question for you though, Mangone. And Hoop, I think knows. Do you know what a bubbler is? Chad is making me laugh. Do you know what a bubbler is?
I mean, I feel like I've heard the term, but I don't know.
Hoop, do you know what a bubbler is?
Do not know.
A water fountain. All right.
Yes, I have. I have heard that before, and it's like the weirdest thing. That's a Milwaukee thing, right, or a Wisconsin thing?
Yeah, that just, literally might just be a Wisconsin thing, if not even Michigan knows it. Steve brought it up. I know he's from Wisconsin, and Chad, that just made me laugh talking about pop and all that stuff. So I learn something new every day.
I know someone from Wisconsin that told me the bubbler thing. I was like, you're like bringing back the memory. I was like, that makes no sense. It's literally got to be the only place is Wisconsin where that's a thing, which I think that's correct. But.
And that's all I call it too. Like it's probably weird, but I just wanted to ask that. That's funny.
That's pretty good. All right.
Our boy Gary in Discord kind of just posted this. The Phillies did batting practice. And as of now, the Nationals have not taken the field. Only a small group of players out there. It looks like it's mostly pitchers and bullpen catchers. So it sounds like that game probably won't be played.
All right, we'll definitely monitor that. We'll update all of the content for that as well. And that'll change ownership, right? And a bunch of other stuff and make the slate kind of interesting. So we'll see. And I never mind when this stuff happens, when it happens super late, because, hey, we get guys that yesterday people were on Toronto, right? And that game ended up canceling. And when that happens, you get dead lineups. So, hey.
But my fear is this is going to start that trend again, which would be so unfortunate for life in general.
That would be very bad. Let's hope that's not the case. I hope not. We obviously saw it with the Yankees at first. Let's hope that doesn't start that trend up. We shall see. Let's move on, though. Let's go on over to the next game. Next game up, we'll talk Nationals and Phillies. Let's just kind of get it out of the way. We assume it could play, it could not. But, Hoop, let's go to you first. Talk about the Phillies. If the game does play, who are you going to be on this Philly side and Nationals?
I've been riding the Phillies for a while, and I talked about it yesterday. They have just a lot of natural upside built in this lineup. They're willing to steal bases. They have guys that hit home runs. The price tags to me are still pretty fair. I'll be heavy on the Phillies tonight if this game goes, and it's 1 through 6. I mean, Segura, Real Muta, Bryce Harper, Andrew McCutchen at 3.8 on DK, I think is a great price tag. Reese Hoskins is never owned. I love playing him, and I'll even play Bohm as well. So if this game goes, I'm going to be heavily exposed to it. I mean, another reason why I don't think it goes, I don't think we have a Nationals lineup yet either, right? There's no Nationals lineup.
Yeah, another reason it could not go, Hoop, the Nationals and Phillies, they can play each other probably another time, right? I think that's something that we don't look at enough. Like when you're talking about the Jays and Red Sox, one reason that game probably got postponed as well. These teams, they obviously have a day coming up where they can play. And if it does keep getting pushed, like they're division guys, right? They play each other a bunch. So yeah, I think that's a good point, Hoop. Any final thoughts here on the Nationals and Phillies?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the other reason, I mean, the Nationals are obviously going to be without Trey Turner. So any game that they can get off the schedule right now would be beneficial for them. So I'm just kind of selling myself on the fact that this game isn't going to play. I'm mentally preparing myself for that, but we'll see. Could be wrong.
All right, Title, I'll go over to you. What are you doing here with the Phillies? A lot of upside. And obviously, hey, one thing about the Phillies I like, JT Realmuto, right? He's at the catcher position, helps roster a spot that I don't want to put some like absolutely terrible option in. So what are you doing there with the Phillies? And I'm assuming no Nationals for you.
Yeah, for the Phillies, 1 through 5, I definitely like. They're all underpriced except Bryce Harper, 5.7. Lefty. He's going to be left off of stacks against Patrick Corbin, but Corbin's no good. If you're going to full stack the Phillies, I definitely want to low own Bryce Harper in there in the middle of the order. So Segura's way too cheap, 3.9, McCutchen 3.8, Hoskins 4.4, Realmuto 4.6. I mean, catcher's bad though, so I'd want him. I definitely like the Phillies. Corbin doesn't strike anyone out. He's no good. So hopefully the game plays. It doesn't sound good, but if they do play, give me the Phillies top of the order, 1 through 5, and then no Nats for me.
All right, let's move on over. Let's talk about the Marlins and the Orioles. And listen, I don't want to play too many Marlins, but Jorge Alfaro, we just talked about some catchers. He's a cheap punt, right? And he can help make stuff in your lineup work. Don't know if you'll need that today, but I do have more interest in the Orioles. They have a nice little total. Listen, Jordan Holloway isn't anything special, but that Marlins bullpen's not very good. I think targeting that bullpen is certainly fine, and they have a lot of power within that lineup, especially at the top, right? Mullins, Hayes, Mancini, Mountcastle, even Stewart, and even Maikel Franco at the bottom of the lineup. So I'll go over to you, Hoop. Any interest in the Orioles or Marlins here for you?
Yeah, I definitely prefer the Orioles side. I mean, for the Marlins, it would just be more one-off guys like Jesus Aguilar or Adam Duvall. I don't want to full stack the Marlins. I just don't see the upside here. So be picking and choosing a couple power bats from this lineup, and that's probably it. They have taken the bases off the field. That game's all done. They're not playing baseball there. So it's
there goes Wheeler.
Yeah,
more there goes Wheeler, and all the ownership goes up to Walker Buehler more than likely on both sides. Who before we keep talking about that, what does that change for you, right? Does that make Walker Buehler not as appealing? Obviously, cash games, I think he's just going to become an absolute lock, but how does that change things for you?
Yeah, for tournament, I mean, I talked about it yesterday. At pitcher, even in tournaments, I don't try to get cute. You can get cute with offense in a lot of different ways. At pitcher, I just no need to get cute, especially at this price tag. It's not like you're paying a ton. I mean, 10.5 to me is like a moderate type price tag. So I'll just go with Buehler and move on. And he's been really good too. I mean, it's not like he's been bad. He's been very steady. Gets a pitcher's ballpark. Yeah, his ownership's going to skyrocket now, but whatever. We don't have a lot of solid options at pitcher. I'm good, eating the chalk or whatever term you want to use and kind of move on with Buehler.
Yeah, Title, what's that change for you? And speaking of what Hoop said, Hoop talked about, Walker Buehler's been good. He's also been really good against the Giants. I mean, he keeps going against them and keeps mowing them down. So what's your final thoughts here with the news that this game is probably off the slate?
Yeah, that'll probably just move my pitching pool to 4 to 3. Maybe I'll add in some McGill because I don't think his ownership's going to be too high, 9.2K. I do think he's good, but it's mainly going to lower it just to 3 pitchers, Buehler, Heaney, and Max Fried. And then people in chat are talking about that there's been reports that Story might be shifted before the game, like you mentioned, and that would be a big boost to Heaney. I mean, Story's the one bat in that lineup that I'm most scared of, that he mashes lefties. So if he's out, Heaney and Buehler, definitely my 2 favorites. So yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but what you going to do? We still got Buehler up top. Good option. Heaney's too cheap. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yep, definitely watch for that. What game are we on again? We were on the Marlins and Orioles. So,
Orioles.
Well, Hoop, we'll go back to you. Do you have anything else to say on that game? I don't know if you touched on everything there.
I'm going to definitely be on the Orioles guys. I like what you said. There's a lot of power in this lineup. Even Franco as a tournament play, batting 8th. Like, people don't play guys in the bottom of the lineup. He has popped down there. So Franco as a one-off tournament option, I really like. And then, the regular guys 1 through 5, Mullins, Hayes, Mancini, Mountcastle, DJ Stewart, have interest in all those guys. And a little bit more now. I mean, the Phillies, I was going to have a lot of exposure to the Phillies. I really like the spot against Corbin. I'm going to shift some of that over to the Orioles. I definitely like the Orioles tonight.
Yeah, and one thing that you mentioned with Franco that I liked Franco against righties, right? He's been pretty good against them. It seems like, at least power-wise, over his career. I don't know if the numbers have changed, right? It feels like a Big T thing where it's like, that's what I just remember. And it's like, the other day when he was against a lefty, I was like, oh, he was my play of the day. And then like literally like 2 days later, I was like, why did I give him as the play? And then Franco was against the righty and then he smashed the righty. So it just, I don't know. I think Franco is definitely a really good contrarian option to mix in within your Philly stacks, especially because I typically love third base. It's been a little bit weaker as of late. Title, I'll go over to you. We have no more Phillies on this slate, right? So you can move some exposure to the Orioles. Is that a team you want to move some of your exposure to?
Yeah. So talking about Miami first, I definitely do like the Orioles side a little more, but Isan Diaz, he's min price at 2K on DraftKings. Lefty gets the platoon advantage, third base eligible, and he's expected to be hitting in the top of the order. Probably, I'm thinking second. So if that's the case, that's an easy punt down there, and that's a good hitter too, in Isan Diaz. So he stands out for Miami. I don't mind if you want to go Duvall, Aguilar, Diaz too. Duvall and Aguilar, there were letdowns yesterday in a better spot, but both have a lot of power in Camden Yards, guaranteed the ninth inning at bat. I don't mind Miami. I'd stick to the top of the order though, in those three mainly. And then going to the Orioles, they're underpriced for the most part. Austin Hayes is way too cheap at 2.9K. DJ Stewart's 2.6K. I like the Franco call. He's not going to be owned at all. He's 3K. He's in the 8 hole. People would rather just go Diaz or go all the way up to some other option. So I think that makes sense. And if you're going to stack them, full stack them, you definitely want to include Cedric Mullins and Trey Mancini. The last one, Ramon Urias, I wouldn't leave him out either. 3.3K. I know Penn Stacks an Orioles guy. He always talks about him and includes them in his Orioles stacks. He's shortstop eligible. So and the good thing, if you do stack the Orioles, it's not just outfielders. Mancini's first, Urias is shortstop, Hayes is in the outfield, but Franco's at third. You can get some different positions, and that's always nice, except them all being in the outfield. So I do like the Orioles. There are some teams I like a little more, but Austin Hayes stands out as a very elite play at 2.9K, if as a one-off too.
All right, Hoop, before we talk Yankees, before we talk the Rays, what's the likes we got to get to, right? We're at 474 watching. We got 155, and the people got it done for us yesterday. I was very impressed, and the plays they hit yesterday, right? We might have to make it a little tougher. What's the number here for likes today, Hoop?
Yeah, we're going to get greedy today because the plays have just been on absolute fire. And we're going to stick, every once in a while we say we're going to stick to it and we don't. We get close. We're sticking to it today, right? It's going to be plain and simple because of how good the plays have been. The plays have been just spot on for the most part. Every single night, at least one of the plays has been like in the GPP winner. Got to get to 300 today. There's just no excuses. We're not going to beg. We're not going to plead. Got to get to the 300 like mark, and we'll get those plays at the end. If not, we'll sign off and we'll do it in Discord. Like I said, a lot of times we joke around with you guys and say, get to this number today. I think we got to stick to it just because of how well everything's been going. And, it's a two-way street. We give these plays that do well. You got to get us the numbers that we like. So 300.
Yeah, and I will say, Hoop, I put it on the cash chart. I don't typically put like the POD on it. I put Austin Riley, so I got to do it again, right? So I'm going to put him on there. And the lock bonds were good too. Eloy, Rizzo, Maeda. It was a strong day for the locks on the cash chart. So let's get those up there, guys. You did a great job yesterday. I expect you to get the job done again today. But Hoop, let's talk Yankees. Let's talk Rays. Break it down for me. Not a great game, but what are you doing here?
Yeah, it's not a great game, and this is a ballpark where I don't want to be targeting too many Yankees bats. Although I will say the lineup's starting to look a little bit better. You got Judge, Odor, Stanton, Gary Sanchez, Torres, all with some power, all with some upside, but don't like the spot here in Tampa Bay. Definitely have some interest though in the Tampa side. Wander Franco, I think, is an interesting play. Margot is an interesting play. But, in all honesty, I won't have a ton of exposure to this game whatsoever. It would probably maybe be some one-offs with like Franco or maybe Margot. Outfield's just always so loaded though, so it's really hard to play a guy like Margot as a one-off. So, I guess the more I talk through this, won't have much exposure here, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Title, what about you? Any interest in this game?
No, it's pretty much going to be a fade. If I did mention anything, it would be 2 through 4 for the Yankees. Judge is back in the lineup, 4.4K. Odor is 3.3K at a second base position that isn't always the best. And then Stanton's 4.1K. So, you're buying in on the talent mainly, but on an 11-game slate, that would pretty much be a 3-man stack if you're 150 or something. There's a lot better spots, so it's a fade.
All right, before the next game, I want to talk about some of the best ball content and the promo code that we have going on at Underdog to get you a 25 deposit bonus on your first deposit. It's Run Pure. Use that code over at Underdog Fantasy. It's a nice little partnership that we have going on, and you can get in on those best ball contests. We have a nice video that's up. We have not just one, right? Probably like 4 or 5 by now. We got a bunch of different articles. I know Bobby put one up, and Hoop, you play some best ball, right? You've definitely played a bunch over the past couple of years. What's your thoughts on the best ball streets? I'm sure you'll be getting in there and giving out some of those rankings in time.
Yeah, I haven't done a ton yet this year. I'm gonna get into it a little bit more. Now that baseball's kind of slowing down and PGA a little bit, so I'll get back in the streets. But I mean, best ball is, if you're a big football person, I mean, you can find an edge, and it's the same we talk about baseball. The strategy that goes into it, you need to be looking to stack. I mean, you want your quarterback with some wide receivers, play into some narratives, build teams that way. There's definitely strategy to it.
Yeah, and I don't play a ton of best ball, but I will say, like, when I get towards like probably end of August, I kind of use it as, this will help jumpstart my research a little bit, right? To get you in the NFL mode, so week 1 doesn't sneak up on you. So that can be helpful too as well. So check out all the content we have. Our producer Simon's got some great stuff. Be sure to check all of that out. But let's move on. Don't need to talk.
It's postponed, by the way. It's official. I mean, we are all thinking that too, but it's officially postponed for.
They're in the chat saying it was official. I mean, it was official 20 minutes ago. If you were listening to the show, I mean,
who broke it? Who broke it first?
Broke the news. I mean, I said they're not playing this game, and what do you know? We were right.
All right. Well, that game is out of here, but we got a game that is definitely not out of here, and it's got a low total today, even though it has those Braves, right? It's Max Fried and McGill. I would love to go back to the Braves, but I just don't know if it's the best spot to. This feels like a game I maybe want to fade. Hoop, how about you? Are we going back to the Braves, or are we staying away from them?
I mean, it's tempting, but I mean, they scored a ton of. I hate taking teams the day after they score a ton of runs as is, and now they kind of run into this tough matchup with McGill. I don't think I'm going to go there. I mean, would it shock me if they scored some runs here? No, but there's some other offenses in real good spots that I'm going to be targeting. So be off them. I mean, on the Mets side, I think maybe some one-off home run upside hunting, Pete Alonso, J.D. Davis, James McCann. Probably wouldn't stack them because I'm going to be on Fried here today. So I think you can play those guys as one-offs, but I mean, not a game where I'm going to have much offensive exposure.
Yeah, I will say one thing I kind of look at sometimes too is like the bullpens, right? Like how bad the bullpens are. And like the Mets bullpen isn't that good. So if you can, for some reason, get to McGill early, the youngster, maybe you do get some of those bad bullpen arms. Title, I'll go over to you. Any interest in the Braves? I think I'm staying away. I don't think you'll be seeing Austin Riley as my play of the day again. But what are you doing here with the Braves?
No, it's a cross-off game for me. I like the pitchers a lot more than the hitters.
All right, then let's move on. Let's go to another game where, I mean, man, I don't love the pitchers, but I don't know if I love the bats either. It's 2 bad teams. It's the Diamondbacks. It's the Rangers. You got Madison Bumgarner. You got Jordan Lyles. Hoop, it's Arizona and Texas, right? It's kind of rough. What are you doing here with these offenses?
Yeah, I mean, I want to get some exposure against Madison Bumgarner when I can. The problem is, Rangers lineup is just so shitty. It's just awful to stack. Adolis Garcia, I think, is in play. I mean, Joey Gallo, lefty is not great, but Gallo's a guy. I've been saying it for a while now. Like if you're playing GPPs, he should always be in your player pool. So tonight is no different in terms of a full stack. Man, it's just a tough team to go all the way with. So. Probably going to just be looking at one-offs. I mean, maybe you guys can supplement some of these other guys, but as it stands now, it's going to be one-offs for me. I do like the Diamondbacks, so good spot here against Jordan Lyles. Lyles is terrible. Diamondbacks are terrible, though, too, which obviously is the one concerning part, but there's some guys in here with upside. I mean, you got Eduardo Escobar, Christian Walker, Asdrubal Cabrera, David Peralta, I kind of like. So actually, you know what? I look at this lineup. I actually kind of like it. So yeah, I'm going to be on some Diamondbacks today. I feel pretty good about them. Another stack that's cheap. Is that price right on Eduardo Escobar? He's 5.8K.
Yeah, he's the only one.
Why? Every other single person in the lineup is dirt cheap. Then Escobar is almost 6K.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Play him and you'll get him at 1%.
Down, which I guess is good. So I do like the Diamondbacks. So.
Yeah. So real quick, someone's asking about Varsho. What would you do with him, Hoop? Any interest in him on the Diamondbacks as a cheap option against terrible Jordan Lyles? Because again, it's not the worst if you need those cheap hitters.
Yeah, I don't think many people will be on him, batting eighth. We talked about that with Franco. I mean, people just typically don't play guys at the bottom of the order. Definitely play him at catcher. He's catcher and outfield eligible. If you're going to play him at catcher, not outfield.
Yeah, I'm with you. And someone's saying in the chat, I don't believe it. I haven't seen it yet. Gallo to the Brewers. I don't know if that's real.
Oh, yeah. Is someone trolling me?
Yeah, I think they're trolling.
Hey, folks, we want Title to keep his pants on, not off.
Come on, that would be a sad troll because that got me excited.
I think it's a troll job, but we'll go to you, Title. And also, I skipped the Red Sox and Jays game, so we'll go back to that one after this.
I don't think it's on the slate, is it?
It's on the DK one, right?
It's on DK. It's only seven. It's only 7 innings.
But it's still worth talking about, right? Because this isn't like an amazing slate for hitting, right? So I think we should discuss it at least. But let's go to you, Title. What are you doing with the Rangers and the Diamondbacks with some cheap price tags? I assume you're not going to Mr. Escobar though at that 5'8" crazy tag.
Yeah, well, I'll start with Varsho. I mean, if you pull up his game log, he has absolutely been smashing the baseball. 8, 5, 23, 23, 21, 14, 9, 10, 16. I mean, if you believe in hot streaks, and I mean, you look at what Joey Votto is doing right now. Hot streaks definitely are real in baseball. He's 4.1K, but you can play him at catcher. He's in the 8 hole. No one's gonna play him, and Jordan Lyles isn't good. So if I'm playing this Diamondbacks team, which I do have some interest in, because as Hoop mentioned, they're just way too cheap. Calhoun leading off 3.1K. Dribble Cabrera is 3.2K. Josh Van Meter's 3.3K. Christian Walker's 3.3K. All these guys are way too cheap, except Eduardo Escobar, which, yeah, I mean, I'm fine leaving him off even in Diamondback stacks because he's way too expensive. But I would put Varsho in and then do a wheel stack and wrap around. So I think Diamondbacks are too cheap against a bad pitcher. Them and the Brewers are definitely my two favorites, full cheap stacks. But now that we lost Wheeler, it'd be if you're going like a Giolito Bueller pairing, then you get one of these stacks. If you're going Heaney, you don't really need to. But yeah, I like Arizona against bad Lyles. As far as Texas, I don't have as much interest, especially if they did lose Joey Gallo. This lineup definitely wouldn't be very good. The two guys that I have some interest in, Eli White is in the 2 hole, 2.6K. You can play him at second base. And then Adolis Garcia, 4.1K in the 3 hole against Bumgarner. He has power. Bumgarner's not any good. So it'd just be a mini stack with those two for Texas.
All right, let's go on over back to the Jays and Red Sox. We can discuss it quick. And I do want to mention, if the Red Sox do put up runs, right? Let's say they do. You only get 6 innings out of them if they win that game, right? You don't get that bomb in the order. So I don't like the Red Sox. I could see playing the Jays because of the power and pop that they have. Hoop, what do you think? I don't know if it's worth the price tags today, right? Because you also are still spending a premium. It's not like they made their price tags just a lot cheaper. So it feels like maybe a spot you just kind of stay away from this game.
Maybe I'm a donkey, but I'm just not playing teams where they could potentially only have six innings of action, like from an offensive standpoint. I don't see any reason to do it. And like I said, it's not like you're getting a discount on the prices. You're paying the full Monty. I mean, Vlad Guerrero is 6.2K. Like, can't imagine paying that in a game where it's only going to go 2/3 of the way or whatever it is. So
if Vlad was 5 Hoop, would you do it? Like, I think if like you gave them some discounts, I think it'd be kind of interesting on DK, right?
I mean, I'm just going to build my teams with guys that I know can most likely play 9 innings of baseball. Like I see no reason to do it. The total in this game is 8. Yes. Is there a world where they come out and, the Blue Jays are the winning GPP stack? The Red Sox they score 15 runs in, 6 innings. Yeah, sure. But I mean, that's for the game theory people. That's not how my mind works, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's also after like the second game, right? Where, you can get some tired legs. So I think it's a good fade. Title, how about you? Are we fading and just going on to the next game?
Yeah, I mean, it's 11 game slate. I'm not going to play a 7 inning game. So I totally agree.
All right, let's go to the Reds and Cubs. Hoop, this seems like a spot to talk to you. I know that you love stacking up these games at times, especially in Wrigley. What are you doing here? I mean, it's Zach Davies. We know he's not the greatest, but he sometimes can find a way to get the job done. And Tyler Mahle, good strikeout guy, but also gives up some hard contact.
Yeah, I love this game. I mean, I prefer the red side. I like the red side a ton. Davies sucks. You have some hot hitters for the Reds. Joey Votto just on an absolute heater. Very fair price tag too for this entire lineup. I mean, you can get everyone, 4.5K and below. Bad pricing on the DK side of things. Absolutely love these guys. Winker, Votto, Suarez. I believe didn't Farmer have like a really big game? He's actually been on fire. Kyle Farmer's
been great, man. And it's been a little while. He's had some really nice games. So I wouldn't sleep on him because he's still kind of cheap enough. And if you don't like the shortstop position, which shortstop's not the greatest today, I think you can kind of get away with it. I don't know is he shortstop eligible on DK Hoop?
Yeah, shortstop. Man, this whole lineup is strong. I love it. Why the hell they still bat Tyler Stevenson third? I mean, you got Aquino, you got dudes you got Suarez, and they bat Stevenson. I mean, it literally makes no damn sense. But whatever, that's fine to me.
And Votto's on fire, by the way, too, right? Like Votto, I mean, the dude just.
Votto's on a heater. This is just a great lineup, too. I mean, you can go all the way through with this lineup. Love the Reds today, probably my favorite team. And then Cubs are clearly in play, too. I mean, people see Mahle and kind of stay away, but he hasn't been great. He's been giving up walks. He's been giving up hits. Definitely have some interest here in the Cubs as well, but prefer the Red side for sure.
Let me ask you a question because I don't think you should do it, but maybe I'm wrong. In tournaments, right, would you fade Joey Votto on a red stack? The reason I ask this is look at first base today. I mean, I'll just read you the cash chart guys I have up. Ohtani at 6'4", Jose Abreu against the lefty 5-0, Jared Walsh against Chichi Gonzalez, who's terrible. Anthony Rizzo at 4.2. Rowdy Tellez, who's been on a heater at 2.3. Would you build a Red Sox with a red stack without Votto to make it unique? I don't think you should, but I want to just ask that question.
I think you can just because of how strong this lineup is. It's not a lineup where, sometimes we feel uncomfortable playing guys at the bottom. I feel comfortable playing 1 through 8 here. So I think you can do it. Would I do it on a frequent basis if I'm building a lot of teams? I want as much Joey Votto as I can get my lineups. I am the type of person I believe in these heaters. Yes, he's going to come out and go 0 for 4, 0 for 5, one of these games. Could happen tonight. But when these guys get hot, I want to play them. But like I said, because of how strong I think this lineup is from top to bottom, I think it is viable to do it, but I don't want to do it a ton.
All right, Title, I'll go over to you. Cubs and Reds, I'm assuming you're going to have some ownership on this game. You're going to be playing in a bunch of your lineups. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good hitting weather too. It's not quite like yesterday, but it's 80 degrees, wind blowing out a little bit. Two pitchers that, I'm fine attacking them. It's both have an implied total of 5. I like the Reds a lot. They're way too cheap. Pretty much agree with everything Hoop said. Why is Joey Votto 4.3K? 5 homers in the last 4 games, guaranteed 9th inning at bat at Wrigley. I mean, Cincinnati's one of the top stacks for sure. And they're very easy to stack just because, as you mentioned, you can play Votto at first, India at second, Farmer at shortstop, Stevenson at catcher. Then you can get your Winkers and your Kinos at outfield. So it's one of the easier lineups to stack for position eligibility too. Love the Reds. Going to the Cubs, they're too cheap too. Anthony Rizzo has a homer in his past 3 games as well. He's only 4.2K. Rafael Ortega's back in the leadoff spot, 2.5K. He's very good salary relief. Another reason why I don't think you'd have to go Ben Gamble. There's other guys down here that I'd rather in better offenses. So Chris Bryant's 4.6K. He got theirs chalk yesterday in the 9th inning. I like this Cubs lineup too. I do prefer the Reds, but Ortega, Rizzo, and Bryant I think are in very good spots as well. I'll add in Jason Hayward too. He's 2.9K in the 6 hole. I think he makes some sense too and would be low owned.
Oh, okay. Hoop. We've been playing DFS for a while. You got to stop Title. He just suggested Jason Hayward, right?
Hey, he's done well for me. He's done well for me when I've played him. He's one of the guys that when I play him, he shows out sometimes. You're not a fan?
Hoop, give him the lecture.
I kind of cringed a little bit when he said the name, but hey, I mean, he hasn't been in the lineup consistently, but when he did, he won a stretch 16, 14, 8, 7, 8, 3, 7. When he gets in there consistently, he starts seeing the ball. Good hitting weather. He has some power. He's cheap.
Hey, don't make me play them. That's what you're about. You're gonna make me lock button them. SO play of the day. You're about to make me just lock.
Oh, don't make us sign off early. Come on, Title. We're having so much fun.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, speaking of the plays of the day, we might not get there to give that out, right? I mean, we got 82 likes to go. It's 2:18. Guys, you can push that home. We got 3 more games, I think, left to discuss. We'll be able to get it done, I'm sure. Let's move on, though. Let's talk about the White Sox. Let's talk about the Royals. I mean, I can talk about the White Sox all day up and down this lineup, right? Anderson in a good spot. Got a little bit of BVP, too. I think he's like 4 for 9, 2 doubles. Not the crazy amount, but it's something. Adam Engel in the 2-hole. Jose Abreu against the lefty. I love rostering him, and first base is loaded. Eloy is just too cheap. And then there's some good guys throughout the lineup, too. Like Andrew Vaughn is a really cheap option that you can go to at 2.8. And, if you don't love second base, like Danny Mendick is someone that I mix in throughout my lineups at times. And I mean, even like Zavalia, I think his name is, he's a cheap option that he can just help kind of jam in some guys throughout your lineup. So up and down, I like this lineup, and you get 9 at bats too. Hoop, I'll go over to you. I know I'm biased. I love playing those White Sox, but what are you doing with them today?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in the White Sox today. I mean, big team total, almost at 6. 95 degrees in KC here tonight. Wind, slightly blown on. Doesn't really matter. It's only 5 miles an hour, but strong lineup. I like how it's composed here. Andrew Vaughn down there, 2.8K. You said Mendick, 2.3K on DK. Just a strong lineup, top to bottom. Jimenez just way too cheap at 2.8K. So I'm gonna have a lot of exposure to the White Sox, and I won't be playing any Royals.
All right, Title, I'll go over to you. What are you doing here with these White Sox? They have a high total, right? So I assume they'll be mixing some of them throughout your cash lineups, and I'm assuming with Giolito on the mound, you won't be really playing too many Royals.
Yeah, you pretty much hit it. Eloy Jimenez is just way too cheap at 2.8K. Homered yesterday. He's going to be one of the most popular plays on the slate. Definitely like him. And if you're full stacking, Andrew Vaughn, 2.8K as well in the 6-hole. He's good against lefties. I like him. And then if you're going to play the White Sox, I don't think Tim Anderson, he's 5.5K, so you have to pay for him. I'm not sure how much ownership he'll get, but he always crushes lefties. He's in the leadoff hole. Your boy Adam Engel's in the 2-hole at 3.5K. But the thing is, he's outfield eligible, and I rather Jimenez and Vaughn. If you want to fully onslaught the White Sox off outfield, I don't mind it. Gets you a little contrarian. So I like the White Sox. Jimenez and Vaughn are my 2 favorites. And then for KC, yeah, if I play anyone, it would be Jorge Soler, just because he's on an absolute tear. I know we talked about him Monday, his hot streak, and he homered twice. So if you want a one-off that'll be very low owned against a solid pitcher, he'd be the one. But other than that, I'm not picking on Giolito on this slate.
All right, let's go from one cheap outfielder, Eloy Jimenez, to another, Justin Upton and those Angels with Mr. Ohtani as well. Obviously, someone that's worth spending on this slate against Chichi Gonzalez, who's terrible. Hoop, again, you've been playing DFS for a while, right? We know Chichi Gonzalez is not good. Are you targeting him with some of these Angels bats today?
Yeah, definitely. Angels are up there as one of the better stacks. I mean, anytime you can take batters against Chichi Gonzalez, it's usually the thing to do. Tonight's going to be no different. If you want to play Ohtani, you're paying the full price, 6.4K. That's fine. I mean, he's the top hitter on the slate, I think, by a wide margin, and you can easily make it work. We have a lot of cheap guys. I want to see the rest of the lineup, though. I mean, they kind of move things around from time to time. Upton, good play at 3.7K. Jared Walsh, if he's in there. This Brandon Marsh kid, 2.7K if he's in there. So I want to see their lineup. They kind of mix things around a little bit, like I said, but Ohtani's clearly the best hitting option on the slate.
Yeah, Ohtani's one of the best ones in there. Title, do you jam in Ohtani, and do you jam in some of these other Angels?
Yeah, Hoop couldn't have said it better. I mean, Angels are my favorite stack of the slate. Chichi Gonzalez is just awful. He should not be in the major leagues. Ohtani's the top bat at 6.4K. Jared Walsh at 4.8K. I like a lot too. And then if you play them, you play Ohtani in the outfield, Walsh at first base. And not too many people are going to do that. People will just play Ohtani at first base since outfield's always so loaded. So I like doing that. Justin Upton, play him in the outfield. 3.7K is way too cheap. And then Brandon Marsh, not sure what the lineup is, but 2.7K. He's had good numbers in AAA. So I think Ohtani, Walsh, Upton, and Brandon Marsh are 4. That's my favorite stack. I like those 4 a lot, and they'll be in a lot of my lineups. Chichi Gonzalez is just awful.
All right, we got one more game to discuss. Before we do that, I want to mention, get in that Discord chat, guys. Use that code RPS here, 25 to get 25% off. And be sure to look out for the podcast that we have. We have football podcasts that'll be coming. And we also have the baseball one that's 5 days a week. So check that out on, Apple. Check it out on Google Play. You got to look for that. It's DC breaks it down with a bunch of our guys and gives you those free winners. But Hoop, before we go to this last game, and it's going to be quick, and then we're going to do stacks. The chat's got to get there to get those plays in, right? We're 54 short, so give them the lecture one last time, and then we're going to breeze through this, and hopefully they can get it done.
Yeah, I was actually just getting ready to post it into the Discord because I don't know if we're going to get there. Like I said 300. The plays have been so strong lately. You had Austin Riley last night for 50. But yeah, it's simple. If we don't get there, it's okay. We'll post it in Discord for the members.
Yep, perfectly fine. Let's go on over to the next game. I mean, it's easy, right? It's Dodgers and Giants. Hoop. I don't think you're playing anyone in this game, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're going to a Dodger stack against Desclafani. What are you doing here?
Yeah, it'd probably just be some one-offs from the Dodgers. Maybe I'm not sold on it, but Max Muncy, Cody Bellinger, I'd be focused in on the lefties here if I'm going to do anything. Most likely, though, I'm going to just stay away from this game. Low total, 7.5. We're going to be on Bueller. So, yeah, probably a fade, maybe some one-offs if you're building 150 teams.
And Hoop, we got solid picks. There's only 470 people watching, though. Listen, we set a tough number today. I expect the loyal and faithful to get there, right, Hoop?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when we said the number, I think we were in the 500 range, and sometimes you got to set higher goals, and I know we can get there. So I mean, there's got 40 more to go.
It's not hard to hit the like button. Everyone watching, it just takes 1 second. Doesn't matter.
Listen, solid picks. If you really want them and they don't end up on here, just get them in the Discord. We're going to post them. I'm going to post mine on the cash chart. So there's a way to access them if you would like. Let's go on over to you, Title, and talk about this game.
Yeah, no, I'm not playing any offenses. I mean, you make 11 games slate. I know we talk about it in basketball a lot. We've crossed off multiple games for hitting wise. It's another game I'll just cross off.
All right, we'll crossing that one off. Let's go on over to the stacks, right? Which I know Hoop, he has no Twins, he has no Phillies. So, I don't know if you're lost now on this slate, Hoop. As of the last couple of days, you've been riding those out, so you might find some other ones to get onto. But I think you got some options that are pretty good, and you had some good teams yesterday. So I got the faith that you're gonna have some really good stacks today.
Yeah, the Reds, like I said, probably my favorite. I mean, it would have been the Phillies. I was definitely going to go right back to the Phillies, but the Reds are a team I have a lot of interest in. And then the Diamondbacks, another team. Hopefully the ownership's not too high. I don't think it will be. So the Reds and the Diamondbacks are probably two of my favorites.
All right, Title, we'll go on over to you. Give me your stacks on this slate.
Angels are my favorite. Chichi Gonzalez is just awful. I'll pick on him as much as possible. The Reds are my second favorite too. So I'll name another one because Hoop said the Reds. I'm going to go with the Brewers because they're really cheap, and I'm going to play Bueller up top for sure. So I'll go Brewers is cheap and Angels for sure.
Yeah, you took one of mine there. I think the Brewers. I don't mind the Angels. Title. Let me ask you this: how are you stacking them? Because I was messing around last night. I look at a quick overview before I go to sleep, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to stack them tomorrow. Do you feel confident in making that stack? Because it is a little ugly, and there are enough cheap options though, at least to be able to fill out a nice 5-man. Yeah.
So if Walsh is in the lineup, that's a big thing. People are saying he might go to the IL, which would definitely be a downgrade. But if he's in, Walsh at first base, and then I'd fully onslaught the outfield with Upton, Ohtani, and Marsh. Those are my 4 favorites, and that's how I would stack that team. You can throw in one other one. Hoop's laughing about something in chat. He's making me laugh.
The chat is not happy with Hoop. I mean, 300 likes for less than 500 watching is a bit unfair by Hoop. Hoop being a bit brutal today. Very angry to request so many likes for less than 500 viewers.
Hoop's
the push, man. The push is there. I mean, the numbers have fallen off. I mean, what do you guys think? 283. I mean, that's a pretty solid push. Maybe I was being a little bit too harsh.
I can do this. I'm hopping on my other account, right? I have 2. I have my Gmail, and then I have the RPS one. I'll throw a like in right now to help the people out real quick. I'm going to toss that in there. So now we're at 286. So everyone else just get on those burners, right? And get that home. And how about we give out the plays, Hoop? We'll give them out now, and then we'll get to 300. I got the faith we can get it done.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. Good point though by Snyder. He said close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So that is the argument against not giving out the plays at 300. But I have faith they're gonna get us there. We're at 289. They're gonna get it. Just 11 more, and we'll get there. But yeah, let's proceed. I mean,
Kevin says hold the line, Hoop. Like you're just sitting there, hold. Like, oh, that's too good. The chat's got us going right.
More to go. Come on, let's go. Oh, there it is. Yes, we made it happen. See,
there we go.
I wasn't being too harsh. I was just setting lofty expectations, and you guys got it done.
And we did that with 15 dislikes too. So I mean, congrats to the people. That's awesome. There we go. Now the plays will deliver.
Yeah, the plays will deliver. Glock in there saying, "Bang! Who gets an 888?" No, not so fast, Glock. We're giving out the plays. We'll definitely give out a ticket, I'm sure, on one of the next couple of weeks or something.
You know what? And I'm giving out 2 plays for that solid push. I got 2 plays that I'm giving out today.
All right. Well, Hoop, let's go to you. Do you have the 2 ready? It sounds like you do.
Yeah.
Give me your plays of the day. Who are 2 of Hoop's plays?
Yeah, so the 4X play, which I guess would be like the 8X play now because there's 2 of them. The first one going to Baltimore, Maikel Franco, 3K, batting 8th, should be virtually unowned. Good spot here for the Orioles tonight. Good price tag for Franco. Ownership will be in the single digits. And then my second one is I'm going back to a guy that has treated me very well in the past. Not necessarily this season, but in previous seasons. On the Diamondbacks, batting 6, David Peralta, 3.8K. Really like him tonight as well. So Franco, Peralta, both hitting bombs.
All right, there it is. Franco and Peralta both hitting bombs. We'll go over to you, Title. Give me your plays of the day. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with Austin Hayes, 2.9K in the outfield for the Orioles. I think that's way too cheap. Good hitter in Camden Yards. I like Austin Hayes a lot.
All right, I'm going to go to my play here, and I'm going to go to Mr. Willy Adames. He's been hitting the ball pretty well this season. I like him in that Brewers stack, and shortstop's not amazing today, so we'll go with Adames as my play of the day. I think most ownership maybe goes to Tim Anderson, but I'm going with Willy Adames. He'll be my play of the day. We got it home, Hoop. The people got angry at you, but they ended up getting it home. Give us your final thoughts to get the chat back in good graces with you.
When they all come full circle, and it turns out to be a good day, and we're going to print tonight, so it's going to be even better. So, yeah. Now, they said the Nationals and Phillies are playing a doubleheader tomorrow at noon. So what's going to change from now to noon tomorrow? The shit, there's no logic behind some of this crap. It literally makes no sense. What is going to be the difference tomorrow at noon opposed to 7 p.m. Eastern tonight? Am I missing something?
No, you're not missing anything, Hoop.
So dumb. But, hey. We'll deal with that tomorrow. Tonight, the heater continues for everyone at Run Pure Sports. We're gonna crush it to feel real good about the slate.
I should have said Hayward. Someone in chat just reminded me.
I missed my. Double it up.
No, I'm gonna go Austin Hayes. He's gonna deliver. Hayward though, yeah. I mean, if you play Rizzo, if you're stacking the Cubs, get Hayward in that stack just to own Hoop and Mangone.
Well, the heater is going to continue. Use that code RPSHeater25 to get 25% off, and check out the final countdown show with Big T, DC, and Holden coming up next. They're going to be up at 6:00, bringing you all those winners. But that'll wrap it up for us, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us. For me, Mangone, Hoop, and Titletown. See you guys later.
Good luck, everybody.